Box 7 is all about the things that you didn't get done in week 0 when you try to do a blitz. Try to get everything done as much as you can, and whatever's left that you needed to finish goes into box 7. But when you're doing a project, those bold headings, those big milestones that are in box 5, each one of those probably have some supporting items. It could be 3 things, it could be 5 things. It all depends on how granular you get. And when you go granular enough, it gives you the ability to be able to delegate some of those tasks instead of having to carry them all yourself. But it also ensures that you get them done in support of the milestone that you're trying to accomplish. Okay? So this is the box 7 is when you have the accountability and you're tracking progress when we do an event, but it's also accountability and tracking progress when you're doing a project. But these are the micro tasks, the smaller, lower level things that support the milestone. You guys want an example? Sure. Something really simple. I use this in Shelley. I know you've heard this because I've done that up in Jefferson. And we talked about, so we're doing a capital project and we want to install some equipment. And our first milestone is going to spec the equipment. And so we end up doing that process, and we have engineering involved. And oh, by the way, we start involving some outside suppliers. So before it comes to our building, before we ever see it on our floor, we don't even know where it's going to go on our floor yet, by the way. We want to be able to go to the manufacturer that we selected and have a runoff and have success with that runoff. Just because you have a runoff and it doesn't work doesn't mean that it's going to be a milestone that you met, right? So you make that granular enough to be able to say, this is good, the equipment's ready, now we're going to be able to disassemble it and reassemble it back at our site. So then the next thing that we might want to have on a milestone is we have our internal group at our factory that's helping decide where we're going to put the equipment. And that might be a step before we say install the equipment, right? Make sense? So you have a couple tasks that you're going to be in that area. You might even do a 2P as part of that milestone, so that you're having it planned out and that even having the hourly workforce assisting on that. So you get through that and you finally get it installed where you want it, the direction that you want it to sit, and continue. And then you finally get to run a test production, which is going to have some milestones that you need to meet before you actually turn it on to production. Make sense? Pretty simple example. Helpful? Yes?
And then mechanically, how that looks on the 9 box is as you can change those granular items on box 7. So you get milestone 1 completed, wipe out box 7 and put your granular steps for milestone 2 on box 7.
So that's, once you're past that milestone and you've completed the tasks that support it, you want to empty box 7 and put your new tasks that support the next milestone, so that it's always fresh, it's always connected. So box 7, if you put all the micro tasks that you had at the onset, it would be so small you couldn't read anything, right? So that wouldn't make much sense. You want to be able to make the 9 boxes a storyboard of where you are and how you're performing. So what we want to be able to do is just apply the micro tasks on the milestone that you're on. And so the milestone that you're on is super easy to see because it's red or green. And so once you get to that next green and you're done, you're going to the next milestone. And you have a date associated with that. And then you have in box 7 the tasks that support that milestone. Make sense to everyone?
I think a key thing you said was completed.
Yes.
So I've been asking folks if you have an item, an action item that's not been completed for an item in box 5, and you leave it in the 7, so you should have anything that's late, that's red, and then your upcoming new items should be on there as well. And I know some of you, your I call them focus areas in box 5, they may overlap some, so you may have some items in box 7 that are coming from multiple things you're driving because you're not driving it all. So there might be someone driving this and someone in this. So again, anything that's late should be in box 7, anything that is upcoming. So again, when visitors come in particular the GMs, ops directors, et cetera, they can just look at your box 7, see if there's anything late, see what's upcoming. Within a minute, they know how you're progressing on your actions.
Exactly right. And so in box 7, red or green is another appropriate, just like if you passed the time that you expected, put it red. When you finally hit it, it changes to green. If you did it on time, it's green. It's really that simple, right? And you want to make it as visual as possible so that it is a quick read and people understand where they are and how they can help. That's really the key element of what we're trying to do with the transparency of this process.
So you have, they're gonna put all of them in box 7, you're gonna have some under the tab in box 7.
Yes,
So how do you know which ones to put where?
by date. So the ones that, so you want to have your date, your plan, your milestone plan all set up, and then the milestones that you're hitting, you want them by date. So you're not going to put anything that you don't expect to do for 3 months on that tab yet, right? Just, it's really simple. Whatever's connected, whatever date period you're on, if you're in the past due, it belongs there, right? Because what we want to do is make that transparency so that other people can help. I mean, that's really what the intention is of having the 9 box, a storyboard that's that transparent. Okay?